Football. Football refers to a number of sports that involve, to varying degrees, kicking a ball with the foot to score a goal. Unqualified, the word football is understood to refer to whichever form of football is the most popular in the regional context in which the word appears. Association football, also known as soccer in the vast majority of the world, gridiron football, specifically American football or Canadian football in the United States and Canada, Australian rules football in Australia, Gaelic football in Ireland, and rugby football, specifically rugby union, in New Zealand. These different variations of football are known as football codes. Various forms of football can be identified in history, often as popular peasant games. Contemporary codes of football can be traced back to the codification of these games at English public schools in the 18th and 19th centuries. The influence and power of the British Empire allowed these rules of football to spread to areas of British influence outside of the directly controlled empire, though by the end of the 19th century, distinct regional codes were already developing. Gaelic football, for example, deliberately incorporated the rules of local traditional football games in order to maintain their heritage. In 1888, the Football League was founded in England, becoming the first of many professional football competitions. During the 20th century, several of the various kinds of football grew to become among the most popular team sports in the world. So read about the common elements. The various codes of football share certain common elements. Players in American football, Canadian football, rugby union, and rugby league take up positions in a limited area of the field at the start of the game. They tend to use throwing and running as the main ways of moving the ball and only kick on certain limited occasions. Body tackling is a major skill, and games typically involve short passages of play, 5 to 90 seconds. Association football, Australian rules football, and Gaelic football tend to use kicking to move the ball around the pitch, with the handling more limited. Body tackles are less central to the game, and players are freer to move around the field. Common rules among the sports include two teams, scoring goals. Goals are points resulting from players putting the ball between two goalposts. The goal or line being defended by the opposing team. Players being required to move the ball. Depending on the code, by kicking, carrying, or hand passing the ball. Players using only their body to move the ball. In all codes, common skills include passing, tackling, evasion of tackles, catching, and kicking. In most codes, these are rules restricting the movement of players offside, and players scoring a goal must put the ball either under or over a crossbar between the goalposts. So read about the early history and the ancient games of football. Read about the medieval and early modern Europe medieval football. Read about official disapproval and attempts to ban football. English public school football games. Read about it. Read about oldest football clubs and other football clubs. Rugby games, competition, oldest football competitions, modern balls, modern ball passing tactics. Read about Australian rules football. Read about the Football Association. Read about the history of the rugby union. Read about North American football codes. Read about the criticisms and partial adjustments. Gaelic football. History of Rugby League. History of FIFA, globalization of association football. Further divergence of the two rugby codes. Use of the word football. Association football. Football Codes Board. Present-day codes and families, association football and descendants, variants of association football. So read about association football, indoor basketball court variants, five-a-side football, footyball, futsal, indoor soccer, papi foot, masters football, Paralympic football, power chair football, deaf football, amputee football, football 7-a-side, football 5-a-side, beach soccer, street football, rush goalie, headers and volleys, crab football, swamp soccer, jorky ball, rush ball, rugby school and football descendants, rugby football, rugby union, beach rugby, gridiron football, tag rugby, American football, 9-man football, 8-man football, 6-man football variants, street football, backyard football, Dutch football, flag football, Canadian football, indoor football, arena football. Comparison of football. Irish and Australian varieties. Australian rules football, Auskick, Metro footy, kick to kick, 9-a-side footy, rec footy, touch Aussie rules, Samoa rules, Masters Australian football, Women's Australian rules football, Gaelic football, International rules football, surviving medieval ball games, football in the UK, recent inventions and hybrid games, keepy-uppy, footbag, freestyle football, based on FA rules, cubbies, three-sided football, based on rugby, foursome backs, hybrid games, Ostis, Bosa ball, volley, football tennis, kickball, speedball sport, universal football, wheelchair rugby, based on association football, Subuteo, blow football, table football, fantasy football, button football, penny football, FIFA video game series, Pro Evolution Soccer. Oh yeah, these are tabletop games, video games, and other recreations based on association football, based on American football, based on Australian football, based on rugby football, Blood Bowl, Madden, NFL, AFL video game series. So read also about football fields, a list of players who converted from football code to another, names for association football, football golf, underwater football. Read all about football, 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 football.